Hey, I'm DJ, and I fix stuff. This is part of a much bigger video that I'm doing on fixing 3 laptops that I picked up super cheap, and I'm going to fix all of them. In this particular video, I want to talk about the Dell 3531. This one needs the LCD screen replaced. It's got some artifacts on it, so I need to just swap out that screen. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the whole process, exactly how I do it, so you can follow along and see. And as a matter of fact, replacing an LCD screen is very similar on lots of PCs, lots of these laptops. It's very, very similar. So maybe it'll help you, even if it's not the exact same one. You can kind of see how I take things apart and how I unplug things. And if you do have a Dell 3531, this will be exactly what you need to know. So follow along with me and let's get to it. First thing you need to do is remove the battery. And I'm also assuming that you've turned off the computer too. So make sure it's turned off and remove the battery. That's the first thing. Next, you're going to want to remove the bottom panel. And this panel just has a couple of screws and it's easy to remove. This panel holds the RAM and the hard drive. And there are a couple of screws that go in with the hard drive that you need to remove there. The hard drive has a little pull tab. What you need to do, see that tab right there? You need to push the drive forward first and then lift and pull it out. And after it's disconnected, it just slides right out, mostly. And there's your hard drive. Next, there are some case screws. The bottom case, this is on the bottom. And you need to remove all of these screws as well. And if you notice, one thing that I like to do is I gather all my screws, different screws together in little containers on a mat that I have. Now you're going to flip the computer over and we're going to remove the keyboard. Now, you can use a spudger. I used kind of a very small screwdriver bit. It's a little bit difficult to get in with a thicker spudger, so I used a smaller screwdriver bit. And what you're going to do is you're going to get in those top areas, and you can see some little slots in there. And you just go in there and you just kind of very gently lift up in there, and that pops that keyboard. So just be careful, don't go too hard, just go slow, take your time. And then the keyboard, you can lift that up and be careful, you don't want to rip it up because it's connected with this ribbon cable. So you don't want to accidentally break that ribbon cable. And you can see where it's connected with, there's a little plastic connector there, and you pop that connector up with a spudger. And once that's popped up, you can just slide out the ribbon and you've got your keyboard removed. Next step is to remove the wireless card. There's one little, actually just one little cable that's connected, and you can just pop that right off. And there's one screw that holds that in, and it's connected in there almost like a stick of RAM, and it's just connected into a slot, and you just pull that right out, kind of pops up. Then you want to disconnect, there's a display cable and the touchpad cable. And those connectors are pretty simple to do. There's just a little thing that you pop up and then you just pull those out. And then there are a couple of screws, 3 screws in the center that need to be removed. Next step, we're going to take off the case, the top part of this case that goes right around the keyboard there. So slide in a spudger very carefully along the edges and just slide it in until you just get a little bit of a pop, and you just pop that up. You want to be careful, try not to break them, don't go too fast. And with that, set aside the top section. Now you can see the display cable and the audio cable. Those are plugged into the motherboard. So you want to disconnect those. Again, be gentle with the cable. You don't want to just rip it out. Pull it out slowly, a little bit firmly, but slowly. And then you want to kind of unravel it from the case where it's kind of nested in there. Audio cable comes out pretty simply. Now it's time to remove the hinge screws. There's a couple of hinge screws on each side. Now that you have those removed, the display just pops right off. Next, we need to remove the hinge covers. These are a little bit tricky. They're just clipped in and they pop off. But make sure you take note of how they go on before you just set them aside. It's important that when you're reassembling it, you remember exactly the configuration. So make sure you just take a note. Sometimes I'll take a picture as I pop something off just to make sure I can remember exactly how that went back on. Next, you're going to just slide your fingers under and you're going to remove plastic framing around the LCD. Then there are 4 screws holding the panel in, and remove those screws. And once you remove those, there's 1 cable to disconnect. Pretty simple. Again, be gentle, pop that off, and that's it. Your LCD is removed. And that's all there is to it. To put the screen back in, just reverse the process the same way. If it's helpful for you, just go back over and watch the video so you can remember all the cables to plug in and all the screws to put back in. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer you. Thanks for watching.